Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Carson, I'd like to start with you, if I could. Last July, it was announced that the Department of Defense would lift the ban on transgender persons serving in the military after a 6-month review period. And then earlier this year, there was a proposed rule that was published in the Federal Register that would allow TRICARE to begin covering hormone replacement treatment for gender dysphoria. How closely have you been involved on those issues, on those decisions, on the release of that proposed rule? And tell us a little bit about why this has become such a high priority within the Department of Defense.
The issue of transgender service is one that the services themselves raise. There are 77 openly serving transgender service members today, 27 in the Army, 37 in the Air Force, 11 in the Navy, 2 in the Marine Corps. And so the services for the last year have been clamoring for guidance about what to do. Because many times service members found themselves in a place with a service member who was among the very best in their unit. They had no desire to separate or administratively punish, but at the same time they read regulations which seemed to prohibit transgender service. And so they were at a loss for what to do. So they came to us, to me, asking for guidance, and that's the genesis of that July memorandum.
Would the treatment itself, is there a risk that the treatment itself could interfere with someone's combat readiness while they're undergoing the treatment or after treatment?
Very little risk of that.
Now, I'd like to turn for a minute to the quote that Senator Ernst shared with you with respect to your intention to make the Department of Defense, quote, the nation's most progressive employer. At a time when we are reducing total force numbers, what specific warfighting and military readiness needs have you identified that would be advanced by doing that? In other words, how does becoming the nation's most progressive employer help you enhance military readiness and our combat mission within the Department of Defense?
Everything we have done is to improve the combat mission of the U.S. military, making us a place where you believe that your personal aspirations and professional ambitions can be reconciled. Making it a place where you believe you can raise a family and continue to serve allows us to recruit and retain the right kind of people. Both of those issues are looming crises for us. And so this is about saying to folks that you should come and be a part of us.
Now, when I talk to people who are in the military, who are either in the military now or are considering a possible future in the military, they tend to express concerns going along the lines of making sure that they will receive adequate training, that the equipment that they will need to protect our country's national security will be up to par, and things like that. They're also concerned about things like how we treat our veterans and how we treat military personnel, how we compensate them, and so forth. I don't think I've ever met a service member or a prospective service member who has expressed concern about going into the military or continuing to serve in the military on the basis that the military is not the most progressive employer in the nation. So perhaps you're hearing something different than what I'm hearing. Where is this coming from?
Sir, the survey data done by the Defense Equal Opportunity Management Institute, by various marketing agencies that work under the Department of Defense, suggests that the reason that women are leaving in droves, with a retention rate only 1/3 that of men through 10 years, only 1/2 through 20 years, is because of family concerns. And perhaps anecdotally, because I think these anecdotes are really important, Senator, if you go to somewhere like Harvard Business School, you will seem like the entire 75th Ranger Regiment has decamped to the classes up there. And you ask them why they would leave. Why would these extraordinary soldiers leave a unit as high speed as the Ranger Regiment? And they will tell you that the bureaucracy, especially around personnel, weighed them down. And they no longer felt that they could realize what they wanted in their own lives in military service. That's what we're trying to change.
Yep. I thank you for your answer. I struggle with this one. I struggle with it a lot because, again, what I hear from people, they're worried about equipment, they're worried about how we treat them, how we train them. I've never once heard somebody say, I was going to go into the military, but I'm not going to because the DOD is not the world's most progressive employer. Ms. O'Connor, I'd like to follow up briefly on a conversation you and I had in my office. Do you believe that U.S. government, under the 2011 authorization, or for the 2001 authorization for the use of military force, has the authority, either under that act or under any iteration of the Defense Authorization Act, to capture and indefinitely detain a U.S. person on U.S. soil.
Senator, I think that issue has not been resolved by the courts, but as a policy matter, the President has said that he would not allow that to happen during this administration.
Does the statutory text convey that authority, in your opinion?
Well, the statutory text of the 2001 AUMF, doesn't get into detail at that kind of level. But the courts have held that the government has the authority to detain enemy combatants, and a U.S. citizen is not immune from being detained. The courts have also held that U.S. citizens have due process rights and constitutional rights. And that's why the administration has a practice consistent with those requirements of having the Department of Justice do specific constitutional analysis whenever a detainee is captured who might be an American citizen.
Okay. I see my time's expired. I do have some concerns with this. I do think the Defense Authorization Act contains language that suggests the government does have this authority. I personally believe that's unconstitutional for the United States under any circumstance to detain a U.S. person on U.S. soil indefinitely. That's why we have a Bill of Rights. The Bill of Rights does protect that in a number of respects, and I believe that those who argue otherwise are reading too much into precedent that shouldn't apply here. Thank you.